Absolutely, we're reading about them, talking about them right here on the station, Odelico 99.1 FM this Tuesday morning. And we're moving on with our topic of discussion for today. Delta State defections, where do the people stand? Well, it finally happened. The former defection of the Delta State Governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori, his predecessor, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, and several key PDP stakeholders to the All Progressives Congress, APC. The event, which took place on Monday, April the 28th, in Asaba, during the presence of notable APC leaders, including the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, and the party's national chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, as well as other top figures who welcomed the defectors. Observers had been prepared for yesterday's move when earlier last week, the State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Charles Anyagu, and former Senator James Manager announced after a closed-door meeting at the Government House of Asaba that the decision to switch emergence was a collective one. They attributed the defection to the need for political realignment and a strategic connection to the federal center to facilitate Delta's development. Senator Manager particularly described the PDP as a sinking ship. During yesterday's formal defection, Governor Oborevwori and Senator Okowa reiterated that the decision was anchored on aligning with the federal government for the benefit of the state, emphasizing that President Tinubu had shown Delta State, quote, love and deserved their support. While the defection has been celebrated in some quarters as a strategic masterstroke, a fundamental question remains unanswered. Where do the people stand? Are the people moving with their leaders or staying behind? Are the grassroots supporters who have traditionally kept Delta a PDP stronghold since 1999 ready to align with the new political reality, or will there be resistance? While the entire PDP structure in Delta State has been collapsed into the APC, what confidence do the defectors have that the people who make up the greater percentage of voters will follow suit? Are they banking solely on elite endorsement, or is there a deep shift at the grassroots? What does this mean for the political future of Delta State? On our discussion segment today, we intend to find answers to these questions and more. My name is Njideka. Silver Gilbert, co-anchor, is here. Our analyst, Nelson Ring, is also here. Joining us to provide insights is our guest. The last time we spoke with him, we introduced him as a PDP chieftain, but obviously now he's an APC chieftain, and we are talking about Dr. Fred Latimore Oghenesivbe, the Director General, Delta State Orientation and Communications Bureau. Good morning, Dr. Latimore, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, NJ. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. And let's start from the genesis, because this is one defection that came as a shock to a number of persons, even though we had been hearing about the rumors of defection. But when you spoke to us the last time, there was no inkling as to a possible defection. Even the governor himself never gave anything away. But I want to find out what really changed between the time you spoke with us and last week when the announcement of defection was made. Had you been in the works or something changed within that particular period? Let us know.
Oh, well, they said the only thing that is constant in life is change. And in politics, from time to time, the leaders and stakeholders will always meet to review developments and to chart the way forward. I'm sure from the last time we spoke up till now, our leaders have been meeting regularly to look at the future, to look at where we are and the future. As far as governance is concerned in Delta, they all resolved that the governor has done excellently well. Number of awards that he has received as the best governor of the year, best governor in infrastructure, and best governor in good governance. So as far as governance is concerned, the party, faithfuls, everybody, we are okay. But it came to the point where we had to look ahead to see the party future. What is the hope for us with the lingering national crisis that is bedeviling the party? This crisis, the governors of the PDP, they have tried their best. They met severally, met in Asaba, met in Ibadan and other places, had closed door sections with the parties involved on how to put the interest of the party first before individual interests. But it becomes very obvious that some of the people involved in the crisis, they are not ready to shift grounds. They are hell-bent on their own personal selfish interest. You know what happened previously in Zamfara State, where they went into an election with this type of issues. And at the end of the day, the court resolved that those who signed the nomination documents of the candidates to INEC, they were not known to law. And therefore, they lost out. And people who did not even labor in the election, they were not the people that were not governing the state. So we looked at all of this together and said, what could this mean to us as a people, as a state? And funny thing about Delta State politics is that our politics is the problem we have in our politics in Delta is based on partisan. It doesn't consume us as individuals or as citizens. It is we see it as a battle for power, retainers of power, and the distribution of dividends of democracy. And it ends there. So that is why it's always very easy for us to reconcile among ourselves anytime we want to do so. So we looked at all the options raised by Atiku Abubakar and his associates. Don't forget that Atiku Abubakar was the presidential candidate in 2023. And all of these problems started in his time, during his ambition for the presidency. Which brought us to the issue of the 5 other governors led by Wike protesting against certain decisions of the party. And those issues were not resolved. And Atiku himself is not even willing to resolve the issue. Rather, he's not talking about coalition. And the governors quickly met in Ibadan. We say we are not going to be involved in any kind of coalition when we have issues in our party. The party issues are resolved. And we are talking about coalition. So we pulled out of any kind of coalition. And then that brought us back to our own reasoning in Delta as a political family. The governor is doing well already. We need him to continue to remain focused on the delivery of dividend of democracy to our people. Would this crisis consume us in the future? Would this crisis be a stumbling block in 2027? Shall we labor in 2027 in vain and then somebody goes to court and then challenge us and then say, okay, nullify all the vote from governor down to the last person, your election is nullified, and then we truncate the good governance that we already enjoyed in Delta. So the consultation started. Past governors, members of the House of Assembly, councillors, local government chairmen, party leaders, party stakeholders, they met at different forums, and then we concluded in Government House of Saba in a stakeholders meeting. And then there was another heated debate looking at the pros and cons and the gray areas. What is it that debtors will really want? We resolved that from the consultation we had with constituents and the people of Delta State through our leaders and stakeholders, the best thing to do was to align with the center so that the Renew Hope agenda of Mr. President, coupled with the more agenda of the governor, will advance the development and progress of Delta States and the good people of Delta. That was what happened, and then we all came into it, and yesterday was the political exodus, which was described by the vice president as a political tsunami. This is where we are.
Right, where you are indeed. If I'm to get you correctly, the fear for the future of PDP, especially as regards the leadership crisis, was what made you to defect. Attesting to what Senator James Manager said, that the position of the PDP members, governors, actually was the last straw that broke the camel's back because they were not ready for some sort of coalition. He also mentioned about the different opinions when it comes to who is the national secretary or who is not the national secretary. What you gave as reason is quite different from the reason given by Senator Okowa and Governor Oborevwori yesterday as the reason why they left the party.
No, NJ, there's no difference. I already cited the differences in the party at the center. And the differences in the party at the center, who's around the secretary and all of that.
Right.
And I also gave you an example of Zamfara. That if the wrong person signs nomination papers to INEC, at the end of the day, the result of those who won the election will be dropped. And that will affect the party.
Right.
And we as a party, we do not want to limbo in vain. That is the issue. And another issue also that our leader Okowa raised yesterday was the issue of being in opposition for 10 years. It comes with consequences. Apart from your federal allocation that you get, there are so many things that you benefit from the center. We, the center, might be reluctant to do for you because you are an opposition party. Okay? So if they give you 10%, they will give their member states, they can give their member states 100% and give you 10% because you are opposition. So if you are aligned with the center, what that means is that the 100% that is going to their member state will also come to you. So aligning with the center will also accelerate development in Delta, and it will also accelerate the socio-economic well-being of the people. That was the point that Governor Okowa raised, which everybody applauded. It is part of what we have in the basket. What we have in the basket is Delta must no longer be in opposition. One, Delta must not be part of any party controversies at the center that will consume us. Two, three, we need to unite our brothers and sisters in Delta State together. The stakeholders that cut across board. You know, Governor Oborevwori is a good political bridge builder. As a governor, he has been friends to all the governors in Nigeria, whether you are PDP, APC, or Labour. And we thought that kind of bridge building can be brought to the state level, where the likes of Omagigi, the likes of Olongo Tegamero, the likes of Senator Dafinone, the likes of Senator Negumonko, the likes of Senator Onowako, and House of Rep members, including the YZ, can be brought together in the same basket. All of us now working together to attract leaders of democracy to Delta will be more beneficial to us than if we remain divided. Those are the issues. And everybody agreed. And you can see at the rally yesterday, speaker after speaker, Omagege was there, all the senators were there, all members of House of Assembly were there, chairman of local government were there, members of the House of Assembly led by the speaker were all there, all political appointees were there, all councillors were there. That is why the vice president said that it was a political tsunami that has never happened in the history of South and by extension Nigeria.
Well, it's a collective reason. I don't think we misquoted you, but some people will say there should be a main reason. Maybe the fear of disparity when it comes to what the court might do, especially given the leadership process. In fact, there is also another reason of corruption allegation against the former governor. And then when you also spoke about the need to tap to the center. And one would even ask, as regards that, I listened to the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyama. He was testifying to the fact that the Oborevwori government was doing pretty well, that he passed a particular bridge or flyover, and he was like, well, how are we going to beat this man? So obviously, even without the gift from the federal government, the state was doing pretty well, and I'm sure Daltons could actually see it, the position could fade. And so rationalizing the defection for any observer may not really be sound enough. But then again, when you say that you want more for the people, did you consult the people? Because some people would say, when you look at what is going on in the country economically, there seems to be a damning verdict against the APC government. So it's beyond what you could get from the center, the allocation you could get from the center. The generality of the people, the generality of Daltons, are you thinking about what they're getting currently from the APC government and what they think about the APC government and whether it's a worthy venture to go into the APC given the hardship in the country?
Now, Angie, let's look at it from this perspective. You are a hard-working journalist, one of the best we have around. And if in the future you decide not to float a radio and TV station, and you already have the money with you, and probably you want to start with radio in Oka or somewhere, but by the divine grace of God, you also have a husband that is very wealthy, and you come to say, honey, look, this is my plan, I want to establish a radio station in Oka here, but in the future I want to grow, I want to have another station in Abuja, I want to also have in Lagos. The husband say, so you have the money for this one? I say, yes. Okay, that's very good. That's good. And you have the plan to also have a station in Abuja? I say, okay. Now, you have gotten the money for Oka. I'm going to give you the money for Abuja. So you build the two stations and you open simultaneously. The one in Oka and the one in Asaba Abuja will be flagged up the same day. What that means is that you have double breakthrough now. Instead of you struggling now in the next 10 years to open another branch in Abuja, because you have a husband that is also wealthy, he has solved that problem for you. That is what aligning with the center means. It does not mean that because you have resources to develop your state, therefore, if you have the opportunity to get more from the center or from somewhere to advance that development, that you shouldn't do it.
So, an emergency situation.
Yes, I'm in a situation. So it is better that way. Okay? Then secondly, you talk about the people. If the people of Delta were well informed, who are the people? The people are rooted at the grassroots. The people are connected to leaders of the party. That's why you have multifaceted, all kinds of political pressure groups at the grassroots and everywhere, connected to the party. And this information are usually pass through those channels to the people. For example, if you are in a community, you have your leaders in your community, people that you are loyal to, people that will always tell you this is the way to go, this is the reason why we are going this way, and you follow. So those channels were taken care of. This information was passed through the leaders and stakeholders across the 3 senatorial districts, up to the unit level, ward level, local government level, and to the states. And that is why you saw that the movement you saw yesterday, the kind of crowd you saw yesterday, was as a result of due consultation and carrying along all of our supporters. We also have their own friends and family members that they have been able to convince and talk to say the reason why we are going to the APC is to better advance the progress of Delta. Because we cannot continue to remain in their position. Because the crisis in our party, PDP, we don't know where it's going to end. It might injure all of us. Look, Angie, it's not all risk you take. The Bible says, Christianity will say, marriage is for better or worse, which is very good. You go to the altar, you take the oath, you solemn declaration, and they join together. The bishop will tell you, this marriage, there's no going back. But yes, there's no going back. Even Christ says so. But if you now inside the marriage now and the man or the woman now go and buy pistol and load it with live ammunition. And say, woman or man, if you don't leave this house today, I kill you. And you know that it's a really loaded bullet and the man's eye is red or the woman's eye is red. Are you going to say because it's made for better for worse? You will not first of all run for your dear life. You must. Because we left PDP does not mean that we should be inside the house and then the fire will burn the building and burn everybody inside the party. So the decision we are taking is for the betterment of the people of Delta State. We should further advance the state and to give our governor the peace of mind to continue to do the good work that he's doing in Delta.
Right, he just joined us. We have been speaking with Dr. Latimore Oghenesivbe, an APC chieftain, and of course the Director General, Delta State Orientation and Communication Bureau. We have been taking us through the defection that happened formally yesterday at the Senators in Asaba. We're looking at the topic, where do the people stand? Do the people move with the elite? He's confirming that there was due consultation And of course, the good reason for the defection, they need to connect to the center. And of course, to prevent possible legal logjam that might come following the leadership crisis in the PDP. I have my colleagues here as well who will be engaging Dr. Latimore now. Favor Gilbert, Nelson, May as well. Don't forget, you can always join the conversation. 0806-878-2781. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning to you, my sister.
You're welcome. Well, Doctor, I've been listening to all that you've been saying this morning regarding the defection in Delta State. So I'm asking, Doctor,
regarding the political exodus.
Okay, the political exodus, as you said. Well, Governor Oborevwori mentioned that the reason behind this defection is because Delta has been in opposition for getting over 10 years, and they wouldn't want to be in opposition, which you also mentioned this morning. So I'm saying the right to vote is in the hand of the people. The people determine who the next president is. So from the look of things, it's basically politicians that moved into this APC, as the case may be. So where is the people? If the people is saying that presumably people will say that they don't want Tinubu to continue leading us, and Delta does not want to be in the opposition, does it mean that if Tinubu does not emerge as president come 2027, that Delta might likely come back or move to the person that actually emerged as the president, since they don't want to be in opposition?
Thank you very much. Who said that Tinubu will not win in 2027? The hierarchies are there. Everybody is Tinubu, everybody is standing on the mandate of Mr. President across the South. And in the North, he has more friends in the North than in the South. In the East, the same thing. The Hope Uzodibas are there, and everybody in the East, they are all working for Mr. President. The future of Mr. President in 2027 is unarguably 100%. So let's not go to the issue of whether the president wins or not. What is on ground now is that you are talking about the people of Delta State. And who are the people of Delta State? They are the people, a large number of them you saw yesterday are the political movement. Asaba was shut down. If you are come to Asaba yesterday, I don't know whether AJ was in Asaba yesterday. There is no way in Asaba that was not having traffic. You stay on the traffic for 2-3 hours. The whole of the state came to Asaba. These people, they are registered voters. They have their PVC in their hands. So when you are talking about people, you are talking about registered eligible voters who go to the polls. Those who are not registered voters, they are not part of this equation. Because even whether they are here or there, they don't have the cards to decide who becomes governor or who becomes president. So let's focus now on the eligible voters, which is the main target. And the people you saw yesterday, they are the eligible voters. Don't also forget that the people, the APC, better still we have two political parties. And the major opposition is the APC. The other ones are just neither here nor there. And then you can imagine these two forces, PDP that is the majority, aligning with the major opposition. And they have become one unit with their supporters and their members and their families and their associates and leaders. What that tells you is that in Delta State come 2027, it's a done deal for Mr. President, for Governor Oborevwori, and for all candidates of the All Progressive Congress. So, my sister, don't be worried at all. The people of Delta State are with us 100%. That I can assure you.
All right. Nothing?
A quick one, Doc, before we go to the phone line. Doc, I wouldn't know, I'm looking at this in the words of Charles Aniago, I wouldn't know the taste of the palm wine that you are taking. Charles is saying that the palm wine tastes. So I am beginning to wonder now, as the people of Delta actually have they tasted the new palm wine? because what I'm seeing right now, from the vox pop I've seen, so Deltans are saying these are people who are not politically inclined. They are the people of Delta. And they are saying no. That what the governor has done, they are not in support of it. that in fact he has risked his second second term. And don't you think you people are pushing the people to the wall, and the people might just fight back and with their vote on the day of the election, because for them, they are not interested for the fact that you are going to APC or not. If they are not in tune with what the government is doing in terms of this defection, they could actually spoil the taste of the palm wine for you, isn't it?
Let's start this way. Let's start this way. Charles is a young man who grew up with elders in the village. And he has a truckload of proverbs and gathered from Tales of the Moonlight and all that. So Charles is good at doing that to illustrate points that are valid. The taste of the palm wine, when it changes, the drinking pattern also changes. That is a very true, coloration to it. Because the center has changed the taste of the palm wine. And then those of us over here, we have to adopt a new drinking pattern to the palm wine. Let us unite together as a family. Let us keep our individual interests apart. And then key into the larger interest of the party. Let us save our party from collapse. Let us save our party from this national shame. They said no. They rather prefer their own personal interest to override the party interest. So therefore the taste of the power actually changed. And the drinking pattern must actually change. That was right. So that's where we are. That's where we are. That even the one you are saying, some people are saying one thing or the other, well, who are the day? Who are the day?
All right, Doctor, let's hear from the people who have been trying to reach us so that they can come and know. Good morning.
Maduka.
Good morning. All right, go ahead.
Delta State.
Right, go ahead.
Welcome, Doctor.
Hello. How are you?
Can you hear him, Doctor?
Faintly. You should speak louder.
All right, try and speak up if you can.
So look at me shouting. Okay, Doctor, welcome.
Well, thank you.
Yes. I did it a state now for 33 years. And I am eligible. Since I came to that state, I have my card. I participated in all the elections that happened. I want to put it to you that what you are saying is not what we are saying here. It is entirely political. Who do you expect to reduce PDP? That is why we have a running mate here in Delta State, and he was the leader of Labour Party. Is it not the same people that are majority? Who are the people that voted for Labour Party here? That defeated PDP, and the same people that defected a man. It is not to our interest. I voted Okowa twice. I voted everybody, even the Kenjanos, on many occasions. But this time, you people will know that the power is not in your hand. Except you are telling us there will be no election. And if there is no election, we are very confident with any kind of thing because what has happened to Nigeria? There's nothing that has not happened to Nigeria. Only that I and myself that is talking now did not die and wake up again. That's the only thing that did not happen to me in Nigeria, politically, by the leaks on the leader. The only thing that did not happen to me, or most of us that are still alive, is that we did not die and die. What is this? You are telling us now that there is something in the center that they spend our money. They can say, look, they generator of the revenue alongside with River and the Lagos State, more than any other part, no other part. So you are telling us now that they are giving the money to the Lagos State. So those people in the north that not generate anything more than they give to us because we are not in the center. And you knew it all this one, and nobody is talking. I wonder where you people, what do you think we are? I want to tell you that in South and Southeast, we are very wise. And even in Southwest, that is why Lagos was won by another side than the main Jagama. We are wise, we are not illiterate. You only illiterate and you say, this is where we want to go. They will follow you. We are not that gullible. So that you will come to radio and tell the people that everybody follow you. Even in Even the whole people, they don't follow you. We are not following you.
Thank you very much. That's his personal opinion, but Dr. You got the meat of the matter. The fact that in his own estimation, the people note with you. But he raised something quite important. If you knew that your party and the people in Delta had been shortchanged for a long time, why keep quiet? Why talk about it now? But let's hear from this person before we take all of those questions at once. Good morning.
Good morning, all of you.
Good morning.
Ifeanyi from Atada.
All right, go ahead, please.
Then you are taking the studio. You are taking the PDP. By the former governor going to running mate to Atiku. In short, they decided they are not with the people. They will receive a shocker in 2027. All of them will lose. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Doctor, you heard that. You may want to respond to the last different calls.
Yes, Angel, you know, one thing with the media is that everybody will have access. And when they say, when some people say, we the people, it's a bit confusing. Because you that is speaking, you are Nigerian like me. And I said I'm entitled to one vote on the election day. Every speaker that has spoken will also have one vote each. You can't vote twice. So, if something happens and you are probably not happy with it, that does not mean that other people are not happy with it. So that point should be made. Now, for example, when it says that Delta State Labour Party won in Delta State in 2023 presidential matter and all that, you should never forget that thing happened nationwide. That obedience was a movement. The voting pattern of obedience at that time was not as a result of a political party. It was a movement behind one individual called Peter Obi at that time.
What if the individual partakes again in 2027?
Time will tell. Because a lot of things have changed from that time up to now. A lot of debate has been going on the media. A lot of issues have been opened. Compared with the performance of Mr. President now, the bold step that he has taken to block all the financial leakages in Nigeria. For example, the fuel subsidy that he stood his ground and blocked. And today, the billions and trillions that were leaking out from the fuel subsidy has been stopped. And he has taken other strategic economic policies that are also now impacting on development positively. So things have changed really. A lot of people have seen the direction with which Mr. President is going. And they have come to realize that for a country that has been mismanaged for so many years, it would take a pragmatic leader, somebody that has the political willpower, to stand his grounds, to make policies that will turn the tide around. And that is where we are now. That is quite different from 2023 when the obedience movement started. So in 2027 we shall see. But for today, the people of Delta State are with us 100%. That I can guarantee you. Because the two parties that hold the state, the major political party, the PDP, and the APC, they have merged to become one family. I don't see any political party now growing bigger than APC in Delta to come and take over power in 2027. I don't see it happening in Delta, happening in Nigeria.
Doctor, are you there? Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone in the studio.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, our guest. I am grateful. Eja Patedo closing the airways from Osumo.
Okay.
Our guest actually, when a bird flies, which I know a clever bird by its wing, and swing right there in the air. As for a coward, we know how a coward behaves because it is there in the bed of the air. Defections are the weakest political movement to be at the center. In America, we have the Democrats and the Republicans. The wave of defections in Nigeria is not obtainable there in America because they are minded. Defections, as it is in Nigeria, is an expression that our people, our politicians are not politically ideologic. That is the reason why we want to defections. Yes, An ideological party will always remain there and plan on how to grab the center, not by weak defections, as we have it here. You talked about our people, your people being involved. Of course, you are on your own in your detection during the day of voting. I cannot vote for a weak politician who is not ideologically oriented, who is following the weakest way of grabbing power. Power is groomed and, built for it to be at the center. I can never ever support you and your defectors, your colleagues, because of your defections. Try to be ideological. During the election there, that's really you are talking about. It shall rain against you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Doctor, you may want to respond to that. It's also good we point out what you said when you were here the last time, that the people who were defecting was because of lack of principle, and some people would wonder what happened to that principle, even though you have given your reason for so. But can you respond to the last caller?
It was very faint. I didn't hear quite everything he said.
Well, he said he cannot support politicians who are not ideological. It doesn't show that they are principled, that you and your party members are on your own, basically.
Yes, NJ, I told you, I gave a good illustration not too long ago about a marriage that was supposed to be for better, for worse. And then suddenly one of the party changes, and they wanted now to take the life of the other. And I said that it would be more ideal for the one whose life is threatened to excuse himself or herself for a while in order to be alive. Jesus did it. When they were coming after him, the Bible said he meandered through the crowd and went to the other side of the river, because the time has not come. So it is always better for you as a person, whether you are principled or not, when your principles can no longer work, when your principles are threatened, like the way we now have it in PDP, where some people say that their personal interest is above the party and they are hell-bent on destroying the party. Under that condition, what would your principle do? Will you say that you will be, because you have principle, you will be there? Okay, let's say, for example, now you stay in a block of 4 flats, and you have decided that this building, this flat is where you are going to stay until when you finish your own mansion and you move there. You are not going to leave this place, you are not going to rent another house until you finish your building. Then one night, there is fire at the other flat. And you came out and you saw the fire coming. And because you are principled, you have told yourself that you will never leave that flat. Then you now enter back into your house and close the door and say, I don't mind, let this fire just come and consume me here, because I won't leave this place. That will not work with your principle. What you should do at that particular time is to start to pick some little things that are valuable to you, and then you run out. Things like your degree certificate and other things, like your investment documents and other things, your checkbooks and all that, and few things you can take. Yeah, if you are married, you wake up your husband, your children, and all of you will first of all move out. You won't allow that fire to come and consume you and your family because you are principled. It's good to be principled. That's why we have waited for 10 years as opposition. It's good to be principled. That is why the governors of PDP, they have been traveling from one state to the other, holding meetings, appealing to those who are concerned to put down their own personal interests and let us now, unite and save the party and let the party interests be above all. And they said no. In that regard, what happens to your principle? What do you do with your principle at that time? So the issue of principle is very good, but there's an extent with which principle will stop, and then you begin to take decisive decisions that can advance you or advance your state or advance your country. The decision, some of the decisions Mr. President has taken is to save Nigeria from waste, is to save Nigeria from fraudsters.
All right,
so
Doctor.
What we have also done in Delta is to save our state from being consumed, so that we can continue to provide good governance and dividend of democracy to the people. We took this decision for the interest of the state and for the interest of our people. Our own personal principle cannot override the welfare and the socio-economic well-being of Deltans.
Well, we're hoping that the people get that analogy in the context you presented it. But like they say, numbers do not lie. You talked about Labour Party and how that was instituted by the person who contested the presidential election in 2023. But looking down the line, PDP has always maintained a stronghold in Delta State, except for that 2023 when Peter Obi came in. We want to see what happens moving forward in 2027, whether indeed the people are with you. On that note, we're saying a very big thank you to Dr. Fred Latimore Oghenesivbe, an APC chieftain, and of course the Director General, Delta State Orientation and Communications Bureau. He has been speaking with us on the Delta State defections, the tsunami that happened yesterday, and we were asking, where do the people stand? Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us this morning.
Thank you, NJ, for having me. God bless you.
Right, have a great day.
Headlines. Headlines. Oh, have you heard it? Headlines. Headlines.
Right, I think we have to leave it here. It's a wrap for us. The schools and defense are played out in Delta State. The conversation will continue tomorrow. I thank you, Nelson. We'll be here again. My name is Njideka. See you again.
And I am Favored Yoga. Thank you for listening.